Good morning and welcome back to the Opportunistic Trader for August 17th, a Friday. Glad for the weekend. It's been a long week. Yesterday was much quieter on the trade front for us. A couple of days this week we had 10 to 12 trades that we put out on a day. Yesterday we attempted to short S&P at the level that we're trading now and got stopped out for a $7 loss. Couldn't find really much else to do during the day. It was straight up action into the close. Again, U.S. equities yesterday outperforming the world, as has been the case. Scouring through the Asian markets last night, China was down again, closed basically on the low of the move, down about 19.5% for the year. Nikkei was up slightly, and across the pond, DAX is close to the weekly low, down about 70 points. London down, and the CAC down as well. The Turkish lira, which has been the story over the last week, got up above 7 and change on Sunday night, and worked its way back to a low yesterday of about 580, and I think it's trading at about 620, up about 5%. So seeing a little skittish action over there.
It was strong overnight, and then the last 2 hours it just started to fall out of bed again. So let's see, maybe something's going on.
Yeah, I think people are worried they didn't release the pastor. We're not negotiating or anything on that, and I guess people are leery into the weekend. Interesting equity action in the U.S. yesterday. The low on Wednesday was 28.03. We traded up to 28.53 or 4 yesterday on the highs, straight up about 50 handles. Wiping out anyone who would be short the market. Today market is about 550 lower. Fair value, it has about 3 to fair value, so we're probably about 2 lower. Interesting levels, interesting action here in U.S. equities. Potentially above 28.5 is a breakout to the upside to new highs. If we stay in here, we're range bound. We're coming into the quietest week or two of the summer. They may try to push highs. I'm not really sure. I'm not really picking up much. Oil is had 2 straight up days. It was up yesterday slightly and about 50 cents, and today it's up another 35 cents. And bonds continue to rally back and forth inside the range, pushing back to like 285 on the 10-year. Don't see much trade there. And the straddle is pricing, the 40 straddle is pricing about $10, which is cheaper than it's been for the Monday expiration and Wednesday expiration, so maybe they're expecting a little bit of a quieter Friday. Other than that, I don't see much. The dollar's a tad bit weaker against the euro, and gold is unchanged and had exciting action a couple of days ago, but now we're quiet. And I'm going to throw it to Vince to give his thoughts on the market, and then we'll chat a bit.
Thanks, Larry. Good morning. I want to start with something's changed in the last couple of hours. I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe there's some strings attached coming out, but it's starting with the Turkish lira. The Turkish lira was strong last night for 3-4 hours straight, and then had an abrupt turnaround in the last 2 hours. So I think part of this is the get me out Friday mentality. Tracy, I think, alludes to it in oil as Friday rally engaged. A little Talladega Nights humor there, I think. In metals, just to touch on metals briefly, because I want to go back to oil based on the trade concept we talked about yesterday, because I think it's actually key. Metals, Nothing has changed in metals. Couple important points. 1179, 1185 are levels to pay attention to. This is technical talk. Above 1185 on good volume, you should consider getting long. If it rallies above 1185 on light volume, then you might want to consider fading it. Below 1179, same concept applies. Fade extensions on either side of the range on light volume with tight stops using technical levels. However, and this is not a system or vector system trade. This is something that I saw again in December that still could play out. I want to get long above 1185 on a good volume number, or if I get a signal that hits. Now, I don't have any signals set up outside of the 1 hour, and I don't trust the 1 hour on a Friday morning. The opening's not good on a flat night. If we settle above 1189, I will take a long home. On the downside, if I get short below 1179 on a signal, I'm looking for 1167. I won't take it home if it's not in the money. So there's that. In a washout, I think, Larry, you mentioned 1160, or actually it was 1160 on spot. 1167 was a low on the washout the night before. That's a level to look at again. Below that, 1149. The interesting thing, based on a conversation I had with Mike before, is volatility. Looking at the 20 delta put the day before gold had that immense move during Asian hours, it was trading at 12.3%, basically the December 1130 put. And then looking at it in U.S. time after, it was trading at about 12.3%. So U.S. options are not reflecting Asian moves. That should be a comment to people who play options, especially in GLD, because you're not going to get your overnight gamma. So that's basically a little bit of buying in physical side. Oil is what I want to talk about in terms of what you and I talked about yesterday very quickly. Yesterday, you asked me, Larry, in the morning, what would make it a buy? And I did not get a signal in that first hour. But simultaneously, 1135 did seem to be, after the straddle broke away.
Hey, Vince, sorry, I just want to break in with one thing. Turkish court said again to reject the pastor, rejects U.S. pastor Andrew appeal for release. And so dollar turkey spiked up about 10 points, and mini S&P is trading now down about 9.
Okay, then let me just wrap this then. Larry, my question to you is, you were talking about stops at 65.35 yesterday, and yesterday the market did creep up above 65.35 and continues to do so today. I didn't get a signal in terms of an impulsive move. Are you friendly to the market today, and is that because of technical level, or is that because the contract's going out?
Well, I'm really not opinionated on oil at this level. Interesting, as the S&P made a low on what I would call fake news, right. Moving the U.S. market on, a Turkish court ruling.
Right.
Again, oil just made a brand new high on the day, up about 50 cents. It was up about 50 cents yesterday. It looks like I'm looking at, copper firming. I would buy into this fake news on the Turkish situation. Probably by the end of the day, they might have them released or talk about release. So I'm not really that concerned. Pass her off, whatever.
Yeah.
Just fast money news traders trying to manipulate or move the market, creating opportunity for us. To me, looking at oil, and it's it's going straight up here into that what they would consider negative news for the market. So I don't see much. I think yesterday was interesting action in the sense that the market was bid all day. I mean, in S&P all day. It literally was bid to the moon. Futures are about 8 lower, which is really about 5 lower. I expect two-way trading. I would be careful just to watch the 2850 area for a breakout, and that's sort of what I'm looking in oil. I guess the trade is washed out to the short side. The oil's about 2% or 1.5% off the low. Keep an eye on that, and that's what I see on that. Do you have any thoughts on, on just general macro?
I have thoughts on oil, and I have a comment on oil. It's based on my options experience and something Fisher said in that first interview he did. I remember, always obviously on the straddle go and getting pinned, and then the next day the market moving big and me going, for God's sake, why can't we have another day of straddle? And obviously the straddle held us back, but this Fisher said something. Mark had said something in the interview related to, the shorts get out first as funds do, but on expiration day, if you don't want physical, you're going to cover your shorts. So basically the shorts get out as the funds roll, and then as the contract expiry goes, you often get a spike higher. He was talking about playing that with futures butterflies, and we might be seeing more of that today. And I can't tell you how many times I've been, because oil would always be a put skew market. And after a drop, vol would explode everywhere. And of course, I was short the third and fourth month, and long the front month gamma to hold it together. And we'd pin my gamma, and then the next day we'd rally. The spot month would rally, $1.50, and of course the second month would rally, 50 cents, because the spread would blow out. But I would get hammered on gamma, even if the vol came in. So I think people should just be aware of the interconnection between options going off, open interest closing, and shorts covering as a contract goes into expiry today, and it is get me out Friday, and SEP is rolling into OC now, so watch the SEP OC spread today if you're playing crude. That's all I can say.
Okay. As far as from my perch here, I'm looking, interestingly enough, off that news, the bond actually came in, oil actually rallied, the S&P came down, it's rallied back to about $1 from where the news came out. I expect it to probably go higher, or trapping more people that are shorting off news. I would be very leery of all news that's coming out, because it just seems like a trap. The Turkish lira is basically at, I don't know exactly, I don't have it in front of me, but it's probably about
618 right now.
618, so it didn't even really move, because it was trading about 620, 618 when I came in.
Well,
so
exactly, when you came in, before people woke up. It came in, its high 4 hours ago was 625, 626, and then it had a spike a little above that, and it dropped as low as it's 603, I think, 603 and change, and now it's retracing. It's almost, if you're looking at an hourly chart, it's looking like a bull flag now, but you can't really tell. Your comment about news, just a light comment, but it's actually based on fact. The 24-hour news cycle, these guys have to put up stuff all the time, and they can't put up because anymore. Oil is higher because there's a war, because they get sued. Now they say oil is higher as Pop-Tarts go up in price. They just throw the word "as" in there, and there's your news story that shows correlation without causation. So you got to just take that for what it's worth.
yeah, I mean, I just think they're mostly after the fact. News stories. If we're down today, they'll say it's because of Turkey. If we rally, they might say it's because of something else.
Turkey, because of Turkey.
Right, you're right. So I would be leery. Either way off of news, I wouldn't expect, really to have tremendous news out of Turkey. They're basically in position, the way I see it, the market, that they're not releasing this guy. If they release the guy, maybe it'll turn the market around a bit. But overall, it looks a little bit quiet on my front. S&P, like I said, is down about 7, which is really down about 5. So keep an eye there. I would be careful, around the 2850 level if we get there, which is a little less than 0.5% away, to watch out for a breakout to the highs.
Right.
And other than that, I don't see really anything that is grabbing my interest as far as a trade this
Greg,
morning.
Greg just threw something on the chat that I think you're going to want to factor into what you just said going into the day. So, the Turkish courts rejected the U.S. pastor's appeal, right? Okay, Mike just popped in with that. And, Greg is like a tape watcher on the news. And so I was thinking before I read it, well, now you've got tweet risk from the president. And then boom, a second later, Greg says, now we have to wait for potential and or additional sanction headlines. So there's your risk on the S&P today, sanction headlines. I don't know. Stocks up as we add sanctions, stocks down as we add sanctions. Who knows? But, there's sanctions that could be coming, I guess, as a reaction.
I mean, I'm surprised that the S&P is even lower here, basis what I'm seeing on the commodity fronts being positive. So, we'll see how the day goes. Looking at the equities, Facebook yesterday, our chat room had a really nice call. We saw that it was relatively weak versus the other FANG stocks. So, we were looking at the short side on that. Interesting FANG market, with the double A, with using Apple. Apple's holding the market in. So, I don't know how many days in a row Apple could go up $2 or $3, but it's trading at $213, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. Interestingly enough, Amazon has been trading a little bit heavy over the last couple of days. We've been watching, about $70 off the high, which sounds like a lot, but it's a $1,900 product. So, we'll keep an eye on the stocks. Overall, banks are slightly weaker. Don't see too much movement other than Tesla is getting hounded down another $10, way lower than the tweet when he came out and said he was going to take the company private at $350.
Everyone's prepping a nice bust to throw Elon under, whether he deserves it or not. I mean, they've got to save the company in that reset. Who knows how it ends, but things are starting to come out now, true or not, that are going to, the Teflon is off, and I think you're going to start seeing, the press likes knocking down gods.
Yeah, I think he misjudged the market. I think that he's angry because people are shorting his stock. If the company is real, you want shorts in your stock because that's what makes the stock go higher. And I don't think he gets to grasp that. And I don't think he'll come up with any financing. The stock's down to 3.25. I mean, in the 300 level, if ARBs believe there's some type of deal, at least there's some spread in there. You have a 25% return. They had it up to 380. There wasn't even a 10% return. So there's good trading there. We'll keep an eye on that. It's down about $11, which is almost 4%. And
the day he announced the day he made his comment, there was like 900. I'm not sure the dollar amount. I'm not going to say it, but there were significant convertible bonds out there that expire, some time from now. It struck at like 359 or 360, and so people are like, "Oh, they're not expiring. It doesn't matter." That's not true. These are options. They go in the money with the market trading 380. You're going to delta them out. You're going to say, "Okay, I'm going to sell 70%." So the convertible longs were selling stock to the shorts covering. So it was like a double whammy there. I don't know how he survives this, but he's also applied to the government for tariff relief on that boring company. By boring, I mean drilling. I don't know what it's about, but so there you go. The news is yet to come.
Yeah, it's a good news trader. It's definitely trading low. It's lower than the spike on earnings. So maybe in the 315 area, it might be worth taking a look at. But we'll be trading that today as well. And that's what I see from here. The market is down again about 7.25. Surprising, it's tough when I look at it because we had a great day Wednesday, okay, because there was back and forth action and trading. Then yesterday literally there was no trading. There was no trading in crude. It had a 50-cent range all day. And the day before, crude was moving $2.50. So, you got to adjust to that. Again, S&P is going to open weaker. If we break 34, 35, maybe we have a little bit of downside. But, I'm leery of the 50 level. As far as people wanting to take it to a new high coming into the last couple of weeks of summer. So, that's what I see from here. And we'll be back to you pre-open to give you trade ideas or trade thoughts and, opinions on what's going on.
Yeah. Any active trader who made money on Wednesday and came in Thursday waiting for, jazz for like a big day and didn't give back what they made on Wednesday had a really good week. It's really hard for active traders to not overtrade after a good day. And, I think yesterday was an example of us holding on to gains. I had a small loser yesterday.
Yeah,
but,
I had one trade yesterday. The day before had 10. So I'm hoping to have 10 today, but,
Right.
we don't, the way it's starting out, I don't really have much. May look at a call spread later or put spread to, at least be in the market, but give myself some protection. But right now we're sitting tight on the sidelines. We've had a decent week, so we're going to protect that into the weekend, and hopefully we see a big slow pitch softball coming our way.
Exactly. Keep our powder dry.
Exactly. All right, so I'll be back before the opening, and I wish everybody luck. And if I see anything, we'll put it through the chat room, and everybody is in there chatting now, all of our experts, so you'll get opinions on other markets as well. Have a good day, Vince.